The message landed on my phone like a punch to the gut. Diane, Mom, we're tied up with Ryan's big launch event tonight. Before we start, drop a comment and let us know where you're tuning in from, what city, what country. And after you've watched the entire thing, don't forget to tell us in the comments what you would have done in this situation. Be real, we read every single one. Let's dive in. I stared at the screen, my finger hovering, unable to move. Tied up, that was their reason for missing our anniversary. My insides knotted, but before I could even process it, another notification slid down. Diane, the dinner expenses just went through on your card. Thanks. My mouth went dry. I glanced at the clock. 7:02 p.m. on the one evening that was supposed to belong to Mark and me. My own mother was toasting my brother and sending me the invoice like I was their private ATM. I managed to type a single word, hands shaking. Fine. Mark stepped out of the kitchen, sleeves pushed up, hair still damp from the shower. He froze the second he saw my expression. Julia, what's wrong? I couldn't speak. I just handed him the phone. His eyes darkened as he scrolled, jaw tightening until I could almost hear it. He placed the phone down on the counter with a deliberate, angry click. They charged the whole thing to you? On our anniversary. His voice was quiet, lethal. I let out a laugh that splintered in my throat. Guess our wedding date didn't make it onto their calendar. Ryan's party, though? That gets the royal treatment on my tab. Mark's fist clenched against the marble. Julia, this ends tonight. They've degraded you for the last time. Tonight we flipped the script. I blinked, confused. What are you talking about? His gaze turned icy, focused, almost predatory. He leaned in, voice barely above a whisper. Trust me, by tomorrow they'll be begging they never hit send. My pulse hammered. Mark, what exactly are you going to do? He gave me a small, dangerous smile, you'll see. That same night, hours after their celebration had ended, a new video surfaced online. Uploaded by Mark, shared within seconds. And when I finally watched it, the floor felt like it dropped out from under me. The blue light of Mark's phone illuminated the bedroom as I sat on the edge of the mattress, twisting the hem of my dress between my fingers. He hadn't told me his plan, just that quiet, steel-edged promise. They'll wish they never crossed you. When he finally walked in, his face was unreadable, every movement deliberate. Mark, I breathed. What did you do? He turned the screen toward me. Look, my lungs stopped working. It was a video, professionally edited, impossible to ignore. But it wasn't about us. It was about them. The footage opened on Ryan's lavish launch party, crystal chandeliers, uniformed waitstaff gliding between guests, towers of champagne flutes catching the light, pure opulence. Then Mark layered something devastating over it. A live counter in the corner ticking up the costs in real time. Each magnum of champagne, every silver tray of caviar, every extravagant floral arrangement flown in from overseas. The numbers climbed mercilessly, thousands turning into tens of thousands. And at the bottom, in bold letters, paid for by Julia Bennett. I covered my mouth with both hands. Mark, you put them on blast. He didn't blink. I simply showed receipts. They turned you into their cash cow, and now the internet knows exactly who funded their fairy tale. In under an hour, the clip exploded across every platform. The comments were ruthless. Using your own daughter's money to pamper the golden child? Vile. Ryan's success suddenly looks a lot less impressive. Imagine forgetting your kid's anniversary but remembering to send her the bill. My heart thundered so loud I could barely hear myself think. They're going to despise me for this. Mark shook his head once. No, they'll be terrified of you now. That's not the same thing. The backlash hit like a freight train. At 2 a.m. my phone started blowing up call after call from my mother. I let it ring until Mark took the phone, hit speaker, and answered with ice-cold calm. Julia, my mother's voice cut through the dark like a blade. What is this disgusting video? Do you have any idea the damage you've done to this family's name? My throat closed, but Mark spoke first, voice level and deadly. Your family's name. You mean the reputation you built by draining your daughter dry? You did this, Diane. Julia just stopped hiding it. A stunned pause, then pure poison. You ungrateful little. After everything we sacrificed for you, something inside me shattered. Sacrificed? I shouted, voice raw. You never once acknowledged me. Every accomplishment, every milestone, erased because Ryan needed the spotlight. And tonight, on my anniversary, you couldn't even pretend to care. You just sent the check. Silence so thick it hurt. Then she hissed, "You'll be sorry for this, Julia." Mark ended the call before I could respond, his fingers brushing mine. No, Diane, the only ones sorry tonight are you and your precious son. By sunrise, the video had millions of views. Ryan's smug face was splashed across tabloids with headlines like, Golden Boy's empire built ON sister's credit card at the office. Colleagues who used to walk past me now stared, some whispering, some offering shy smiles of solidarity. My family's dirty secret was finally public. Ryan rang that afternoon, practically screeching. "Julia, you've destroyed everything. Sponsors are bailing left and right. Contracts gone." I gripped the phone tighter but kept my voice even. "Welcome to my reality, Ryan, where nothing you achieve ever matters unless you foot the bill yourself." He swore, voice breaking. "You think you're above me now?" "I don't need to think it," I answered softly. "I just stopped letting you all use me as your personal fund." When I hung up, Mark was watching me, pride burning in his eyes. "That," he murmured, "was the sound of you reclaiming your life." But even as relief flooded me, a cold tremor lingered in my chest. This war wasn't over. It had barely started. And I knew Diane would never forgive. The morning after the video went nuclear, our house felt eerily still, like the hush before a hurricane. I poured coffee with shaking hands, brown liquid spilling over the rim. My phone vibrated nonstop. Unknown numbers, distant cousins, journalists begging for a statement. Mark walked in, tie half done, face grim. "They won't go down without a fight," he said under his breath. He was right. At exactly 9 o'clock a.m., a sleek black SUV rolled into our driveway. My blood turned to ice as the door opened and Diane stepped out, heels striking the pavement like bullets. She looked flawless, as if she were heading to a shareholders' meeting, not a family execution. Ryan followed, pale and hollow-eyed. Mark glanced at me. "You ready?" I wasn't, but I nodded. The doorbell rang like an alarm. Mark opened it and stepped aside with quiet steel. Diane marched in without invitation, perfume thick and cloying. Ryan hovered by the door like he wanted to bolt. "You've disgraced us," Diane spat, tossing her handbag onto the sofa. "Do you have any idea how many people have called me because of that vile video? Investors, relatives, friends. Your aunt in Florida is having palpitations. You think this makes you powerful? It makes you look small and spiteful." The words stung, but Mark moved forward before I could reply. "Small as robbing your own daughter on her anniversary and expecting gratitude." Diane's eyes flashed. "This doesn't concern you, Mark. Stay out of family matters." Something inside me ignited. "He is my family," I said, voice trembling with years of rage. "More family than you've ever bothered to be. Do you even comprehend what you've done to me my whole life? Every time I tried to shine, you dimmed me for Ryan. Every milestone, gone. And now when I finally have something that's mine, you still found a way to steal it." Ryan finally spoke, voice cracking. "Julia, you don't get the pressure I'm under. That party wasn't just for fun, it was the company launch. If I failed, the whole family would look pathetic." I whirled on him. "The whole family?" "No, Ryan, you mean you. You've always believed the universe orbits around you, and Mom made sure it did." Diane slammed her palm on the counter. "Enough. You're tearing this family apart, Julia. Delete that video. Right now." Mark's voice sliced through, calm and lethal. "The video stays. The world saw the truth and no threats will erase it." Her face turned to stone. "If you think you can defy us, you're sadly mistaken. We created this family's image. Without us, you're nobody." Tears burned my eyes, but I refused to let them fall. "Without you," I whispered, "I can finally breathe." Diane actually flinched, stunned, speechless for the first time in my life. Ryan took a desperate step forward. "Julia, please take it down. My sponsors, my future, everything is collapsing. You have no idea what it's like to carry the weight of expectations." I laughed, bitter and sharp. "Don't I? I've been carrying this family financially for years. Every time you fell short, who covered it? Me, and now you want pity? Not anymore." The room crackled with tension. Finally, Diane smoothed her jacket, composure snapping back like armor. "You will live to regret this, both of you." She spun on her heel and stormed out, heels hammering the floor. Ryan trailed after her, shoulders sagging, eyes burning with something close to loathing. The second the door slammed, my knees gave out. Mark caught me, arms locking around me like steel. "You did it," he whispered into my hair. "You finally stood up to them." But Diane's parting words echoed like a curse. "You will regret this." That night we sat curled on the couch, watching the carnage unfold online. Ryan's brand was trending for all the wrong reasons. Sponsors fled, investors vanished, and public outrage poured in my direction, this time as the hero. But under the relief, dread coiled in my gut. My mother didn't lose quietly. Mark squeezed my hand, reading my mind. "They can't touch you anymore, Julia, not with me here." I wanted so badly to believe him. I wanted to believe the fight was over. But I knew Diane and Ryan wouldn't slink away in shame. They would regroup and strike harder. And when they did, the real battle would begin. The following week felt like living inside a typhoon. Every day brought fresh articles ripping Ryan's launch apart, dissecting Mark's video frame by frame. Brands cut ties overnight, funding dried up, and the internet branded my family toxic. But the pressure cooker wasn't just online, it was inside the Bennett bloodline. 3 nights later, Diane returned. No SUV. She came alone, a dark figure on the porch beneath the single bulb, shadows carving her face into something almost unrecognizable. My heart slammed against my ribs as I opened the door. "Julia," she said, voice low and controlled. "We need to talk, alone." Mark was at my side in an instant, but she lifted a hand. Mother and daughter. Something in her tone made me step outside and close the door despite Mark's quiet protest. The night air bit my skin. Diane fixed her stare on me, cold, calculating, but underneath it I caught something new. "Fear, you've ruined us," she whispered. "Ryan can't leave the house without people sneering. My phone hasn't stopped. You humiliated us in front of the entire world." I clenched my fists. "You humiliated me for decades. I just let the world see who you really are." Her mouth tightened. Then she stepped closer, voice dropping. "Take the video down, Julia. End this before the damage is irreversible. You're still my daughter. Don't destroy what's left of this family." For one heartbeat, the scared little girl inside me almost caved, almost begged for the scraps of love I'd chased my whole life. But that little girl no longer existed. I looked my mother dead in the eye and said the words I never thought I'd have the strength to say. "There was never a family to destroy. You made sure of that years ago." Her face drained of color. Diane Bennett, speechless again. She turned and walked down the steps into the darkness without another word. Inside, Mark pulled me against his chest. What did she want? To call it off, I murmured against his shirt. "But I think she finally understands. She lost control of me." The next morning I woke to silence. No ringing phones, no venomous texts, nothing. Then the news broke. Ryan had publicly stepped away from his company to focus on personal growth. The empire Diane had propped him up with crumbled overnight. But something else happened too. For the first time, the spotlight wasn't on them, it was on me. Messages poured in, not pity, but genuine respect. Old coworkers wrote that they'd always seen my quiet strength. Neighbors waved warmly. Strangers online called me a warrior. That evening, Mark uncorked the bottle of champagne I'd been saving for a celebration that never came. He filled 2 flutes and handed me one. "To us," he said, eyes fierce and soft all at once. I stared at the rising bubbles. "Do you think it's really finished?" He brushed his thumb across my knuckles. "It's not about them anymore, Julia. It's about you. You took your life back. They can't steal that." Something settled inside me, something deeper than victory. For years I had twisted myself into knots chasing their approval, desperate for love that was never coming. But standing there, champagne in hand, wrapped in the arms of the man who chose me every single day, I finally understood. I didn't need their validation. I had built my own worth, and I finally believed I deserved it. I raised my glass. To freedom. We clinked, the crystal note ringing clear and final, like a lock clicking shut on every painful memory. Later that night, Mark uploaded one final video. Not of scandal, but of joy. Just a simple clip of our quiet anniversary dinner at home. Laughing over Chinese takeout, stealing kisses between bites, grinning at each other across the little kitchen table. Caption: "Sometimes the greatest happiness isn't handed to you. It's what you fight to keep." It spread even faster than the first. Thousands upon thousands commented, sharing their own stories of escaping toxic families, of choosing themselves. And as I read through tear-filled eyes, I understood the real revenge. It wasn't the exposure. It wasn't Ryan's downfall or Diane's silence. The sweetest revenge was living truly, fully, freely without them, without their chains, without ever again needing their love. For the first time in my entire life, I felt unbreakable.